In what city was Mexicano born? Carla.
Hi, my name is Carla. Mexicano was born in Jalisco, Mexico.
Ah, very good. The three of you should be counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ready? Begin.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Does the music, the Malagueña Saladosa, stay the same?
No!
What does it make you feel like?
Hi, my name is Roger, and it makes me feel emotional.
Ah, makes you feel emotional. So that could be happy, sad, angry, or...
Emotional.
In learning about the artist and their cultural background, it has so many ties with other curricular areas: social studies, history, music, art, literature, math. You can tie in the connections. In my experience with dance and in the field of music, those two areas bring together people of all ethnicities, of all races. When you are listening, when you are observing, when you are watching, you forget about what's going on the outside of your skin. You forget about what you see, and you're just sort of moved by the mood.
This unit has a strong cultural base, and the lessons relate to geography, music, math, and history.
Is a very important African-American dancer. I don't think the students get exposed enough to dance, and particularly don't get exposed enough to dancers from their own backgrounds, their own culture. So Alvin Ailey is a really good dancer to use because he has a history where he has really been able to become a dancer through some extraordinary odds. He had to fight a lot of obstacles. It was hard for him to learn about dance, and once he did learn, he really appreciated it. And that spirit of determination and how he overcame any problems he had to realize his dream is really meaningful for the students, because they can compare it to things that they want to do in their own lives. And down. And this time, remember, we're going to reach up like we're struggling with our bent arm. We're going to bend it up and come up like we're struggling. And then bring the other arm in to meet it and reach up high and swing. Very good. And swing one more. Very good. And then we're going to bend in our stance. Very good, okay. What kind of emotions might he feel, or what kind of emotions do you feel if you hear a gospel or a spiritual? Whitley?
You might feel happy.
You might feel happy, okay. Some other feelings. Andrea?
Sometimes you might feel sad.
Might feel sad, all right. Marcus?
Sometimes you might feel disappointed.
Disappointment, very good. Carol?
Sometimes it makes you want to get up and rejoice.
Rejoice, very good, powerful word. Now, all these movements that they've made, we want to go back and connect them to those words we were talking about before, about the emotion that you would get from listening to spirituals or singing gospel music. Show some emotion in your face. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. 2, 3, 4. Very good. The excerpt was really wonderful. They really liked looking at how the dancers first were all together in a little group. They loved how they were bunched together, and they particularly enjoyed when they burst apart and everybody got to do their own thing. That's the one part that they immediately asked, are we going to get to do that? Now I'm going to let you do some free movements. I'm going to let you do reaching out and pulling back on your own, and you can move how you want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, back, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, back, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, back, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now tell me, when you were trying to struggle to go up and struggle to come back, what kind of feelings, what kind of words could describe how it felt? Okay? Alberto.
Felt like maybe I was like in a deep hole and I was pulling myself up.
But like you were just striving to go up, and it was just going through all the difficulty I was trying to keep you from going.
Okay, so you're overcoming the obstacles, all right? We have looked at the video, Revelations, and talked about Alvin Ailey and talked about the kind of background he came from that made him want to do and make up the kind of dances that showed what his life was like, and not just his life, but what the life of other African Americans were like, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that idea of showing and talking about what life was like, and we're going to listen to a poem. And the poem is by Langston Hughes. And as you know, Langston Hughes is a famous African American poet. And the poem we're going to listen to is called The Negro Speaks of Rivers.
I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world, and older than the flow of human blood in human veins.
Like human blood, okay. So he's comparing the flow of the river with the flow of human blood. And what happened to slavery at that point? What happened to slavery, Christina?
There was no more slavery.
There was no more slavery, and so was the river still muddy then?
No.
Okay, what happened? There was a what that lets you know when slavery was over? What happened in the poem? Mia?
It transformed into gold.
A golden, what? A golden sunset. And I want you to be able to look at the poem and find some words in the poem that you particularly really feel very strong about. Some lines in the poem that particularly stand out to you. And after you do that, you're going to get to choose two of those lines, and you're going to work with a partner in a group, and you're going to create a new poem.
The Negro speaks of rivers, then the flow of human blood through human veins. I've known rivers. I built my hut near the Congo, and it lulled me to sleep. Its muddy bosom turned all golden in the sunset. The Negro speaks of rivers.
Very good. The poem itself, The Negro Speaks of Rivers by Langston Hughes, is a really wonderful poem. It's a really meaningful poem. Initially, when students read that poem, and adults too, it's a difficult poem to understand. So it fits really well with the language arts curriculum because you really need to do a lot with vocabulary and even bring in geography and history also to help the kids really understand the meaning of that poem, how to interpret that poem, because the idea of the poet taking essence from Africa and showing how those essence blend in with knowledge and ancestry, and how that shows how people today have learned from the past, and bringing that and comparing it with what happened in the United States is really a difficult concept to get across. And the poem itself just lends itself to some kind of interpretation.
I bathed in the Euphrates when dawn was young. My soul grows deep like the rivers. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above him.
Its muddy bosom turned all golden in the sunset. The Negro speaks of rivers.
The teacher materials in the Artsource unit helped me because I don't have a dance background, so from looking at what was in the unit, I really knew what to key on as the important parts for students to learn as far as learning dance. I learned how important it was to show them what reaching out and pulling in was all about, how the emotions of a poem or the words from a poem can be interpreted through movement. Level 3, of course, is where the students are asked to actually do their own interpretations of a poem, to come up with a dance that's totally made up by themselves. And definitely looking at the Revelations video and going through discussing the poem and just doing those first initial things, just those first initial movements, helped give them something to build upon. Now that you've had a chance to do your own dances to go along with your poems, and you've got a chance to see what other people in the class did, remember how we write poems? We write a rough draft, and then we go back and do a revision to add things to make it better. Think of your dance as a rough draft now, and now that you've had a chance to watch some of the other dances and think about what you have done what are some ways you would revise or change or make your dance better? What are some things you could do to improve it? What do you think? Tanisha?
Like making your hands, making your movements go smoother.
Okay, so you think as you practice you're going to make smoother movements in your dance. Okay.
Artsource provides students with opportunities to assess, revise, and refine their creative work. It gives teachers tools and strategies to use